everyone, it's Demi from Reading with Demi and welcome back to another video. So September is fast approaching, and if you're in my corner of the book world, that means that it is time for Pickpongathon. Pickpongathon is a readathon. Oh my god. Pickpongathon is a readathon hosted by Crystal at Bond Book Reviews, in which you play her TBR game, which is based off of beer pong, to pick your books for the month. Last year I played via the random number generator, but this year, since I am on BookTube now, I thought I should do it the proper way. I'm going to insert how that went now. I did film it yesterday, and then you'll come back to, I guess, current me, and we will go through what prompts I got and what books I have chosen for them. Hi everyone, Editing Demi here. So it turns out that I mixed up a few of my prompts when filming the books that I've chosen to read for this. I did film them on 2 separate days, so that's my fault and I'm sorry, but we're just going to ignore that and we're going to jump into book picking Demi and choosing my TBR for the month. So as you can see, it's all set up. I'm just picking out my ping pong balls. I got some colourful ones just because they were cheap on Amazon. They're not coming out the box, but yeah, getting there slowly. Comes in 6, but I only use 5, so I don't use the white one. This was a really good way of actually figuring out how many misses I'd had, so I just didn't pick up the balls until they'd all gone, just dropped it, and that way I knew that when all the balls are gone I had 5 misses and I had to add a book. I have overlaid on here how many prompts I've got left to pick, and I do keep track of my misses. So as you can see, misses 0, prompts remaining 4. Here is throw number 1, which goes terribly. As you can see, throw number 2, also I miss. Throw number 3, another miss. It is a really good start for this. Throw number 4 does go in, thank God. And I'm going round to pick up the prompt. I filmed this terribly, I'm now realising. Although you're just going to have to make do. But pick up the prompt, and I am very lucky and I get +1 book. So I started off with 4 and I am already up to 5 books that I need to pick. This is me picking a new prompt. I don't think I show this one. I show you the back, that's really helpful. But yeah, pop the prompt back and then I go off to pick a reward because I got a green spot on that prompt, which means I get to have a reward. So I think I'm getting the ball out of the cup. Don't know what I'm doing here. But yeah, here is me picking up the prompt, the reward cards, shuffling them around, and as you can see, I pick, drumroll, extra ball. Now I think I've misunderstood what this one means, because I'm pretty sure it means you're meant to throw 2 balls at once, but I took it to mean 1 less miss. I'm kind of breaking the rules a little bit, Crystal, so I'm sorry, but I've done it now and I didn't realise till afterwards that that's what the prompt meant. So we're just going to go with it. And we're going to throw for book number, well, still book number 1, but I guess prompt number 2. I missed 1, I've missed 2, last ball before I have to do it, and it goes in. As you can see, very happy, did a little cheer. So I believe this prompt is going to be a TV or film adaptation. No rewards, no punishments, so that's all good. So my first official book prompt is TV or movie adaptation. I'm picking up a new one. I don't even bother showing the camera this time. I do in future ones, I promise. But yeah. So I've got the ball, and then we will go and throw again. And of course I miss, which means I am back up to 5 prompts remaining. Lucky me. This is me just picking all the balls up off the carpet. And we start again. So they all go back in the cup and we will throw for prompt number 2. Or 3. I don't know how to take the first one. And as you can see, I don't think I even tried, but somehow it managed to go in the cup. filming my voiceover after editing, this is where it starts going wrong. So you can see I pick disability rep, but that was technically in the same cup as TV and movie adaptation. So those two should have been merged, and for some reason I get it wrong. I apologise. But oh well. And as you can see, I then get any that has a punishment on it, so that goes in that cup there. And we start again as I get the ball out. So I've lost count. I think this is prompt number 4, but I missed, so we're at 1 miss. We're at 2 misses. I can't remember if this one goes in. Yay! So for this one I picked 2 plus authors, and although you can't tell from this video, I was really happy that I got this prompt. Because it means basically I can put Zodiac Academy on my list. I can't read what that one was, but spoiler alert, I don't hit that cup again, so it doesn't matter. So this is throw number 4. And I miss. Still throw number 4 with 3 misses. This is when I realised that there's something wrong with the table, because that should not have happened. You can see I'm annoyed. So I'm at 4 misses on prompt number 4. And that one goes in. Thankfully, I seem to get in when I've got 1 miss remaining. And for this one, I land on any book with the punishment prompt. This one I then decide matches up with disability rep, that's the one, but it shouldn't, and I should have mixed them up, but we're going to go with what I filmed. And the new prompt for that space is +1 miss. No, that's not the new prompt, that's my punishment. Oh no, is that my did I This is when I realise I should start keeping track. So I bring my laptop over and I write down everything. I think this is also where I mess up and put the prompts down in the wrong order. I'm now trying to think, if I had to merge TV/movie adaptation with disability rep, what would I pick? I mean, off the top of my head, I could have picked True Blood, although it's not really a disability, but she does describe it as a disability in as much as it's very disabling to her. But I don't know, that might be pushing it a little bit. So I'm writing them all down. I wonder if it's because I was reading them upside down that I got it wrong. Oh well, we'll never know. It's happened now, and this is 2 days later Demi filming this voiceover. But it's fine. I have books chosen for all the prompts, which you will see coming up. Apparently I'm picking the balls up early. Oh no, because I got +1 miss. So still need to pick another prompt. And I pick random colour generator. So that goes under that cup. And we're going for the next throw. Oh, I'm having a chat. It's probably my mum, because I stole the dining room table. So next throw is a miss. And then we land in the front one. We are now back to 0 misses, but we have added another prompt. And I pick male author. And surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, I'm not sure, I own a lot less books by male authors than I thought. But it's picking the next prompt, and it is Booktube Loves. So Booktube Loves goes under the front cup, And we go again with 2 to go. So, throw number 1 is a miss. Throw number 2 goes in. Amazing. And for this one, the prompt is... Oh, all the cups are stuck together. So I pick banned book. Not gonna lie, when I picked this prompt, I had no idea what book I was gonna choose for this, or if I even owned any banned books. So that was a fun one to do some research on. And I pick a book with a map as the prompt. So that goes under there. And we reset for what I hope is the last time. So final prompt with 1 miss, and it goes in first time. Awesome. I seem to really enjoy that cup. I think I've gone into that one quite a few times, but it's fine. We'll make it work. So the first book prompt I got, since I was lucky enough to hit +1 book on my first throw, was TV or movie adaptation. I'm not entirely sure how many books I have on my shelves that would fit this prompt. The first one that came to mind was Ring by Koji Suzuki. Obviously this is what the Japanese Ringu and the American The Ring were based off of. So I know a little bit about this book based off of the films, but I am sure there's going to be twists and turns that I don't see coming, so I am really excited to pick this one up. So the blurb reads, "Doomed to die, 1 way out, 1 week to find it. The body of a young girl is found at her home in Yokohama. I'm gonna apologise right now if I butcher any of the Japanese on this. I am sorry. Contorted in fear, but the cause of death is a mystery. Soon afterwards, the bodies of 3 more teenagers are discovered, dead in chillingly similar circumstances. Sensing a story, journalist Asakawa becomes fixated on unveiling the cause of this bizarre sudden death syndrome. He discovers that the 4 victims had shared a log cabin for 1 night, exactly 7 days before their deaths. In the cabin, Asakawa finds a nightmarish secret, a curious videotape which plays not a movie, but a strange collection of abstract subliminal messages, concluding with a portentous, I'm learning words today, concluding with a portentous message. Those who have viewed these images are fated to die at this exact hour 1 week from now. If you do not wish to die, you must follow these instructions exactly." Then the tape cuts to static. The ultra-cool supernatural thriller that inspired the cult Japanese movie and the Hollywood remake of the same name. So, really excited to read this. It's coming up to spooky season, so I think this will definitely get me in the mood. I actually haven't watched the films. I know, I'm a terrible horror fan. But I really enjoy the horror film side of YouTube. I watch a lot of people comment on horror movies. I really enjoy watching Dead Meat films and fan flicks to kind of help me understand horror films without putting myself in that when I'm really not in the mood to watch it. I've heard all about The Ring, Ringu. I know what it's about, but I am looking forward to reading this book. I also think there was an episode of Supernatural really early on that was based off of this lore, so I know it from there as well. So prompt number 2, and I think I've messed up a bit here, but we're going to go with it because I hit disability rep, and then in the same cup I hit the prompt any. Now, if I remember rightly, you're meant to, well, I haven't remembered rightly, but I now think that if you hit 2 prompts from the same cup, you have to make the book match both prompts, which I've done, but I've done it twice. So technically I've treated it as 2 separate prompts, but we're going to go with it. So the first book I'm going to be picking up for this one really fits the any prompt, and it is actually my works book club pick, and that is A Murder in the Family by Cara Hunter. We picked this book probably about a week ago. We didn't really know much about it other than it's kind of like true crime and you have to try and solve the murder yourself, which is really interesting. I have had a flip through and it's written like a script because I think it's based on a podcast, which is really cool. So the blurb goes, "It's a case that gripped the nation. Luke Ryder's murder has never been solved. In December of 2003, Luke Ryder was found dead in the garden of the family home in London, leaving behind a wealthy older widow and 3 stepchildren. Nobody saw anything. Now, secrets will be revealed live on camera. Years later, a group of experts re-examine the evidence on Infamous, a true crime show, with shocking results. Does the team know more than they've been letting on, or does the truth lie closer to home? Can you solve the case before they do? The truth will blow your mind. Exciting. I admittedly haven't read many thrillers, and a few of the thrillers I have tried to read I've not finished, so How to Kill Your Family is probably the one I can think of right now. But I think the way this is written as like a script, along with evidence of like text messages and phone call, voicemails, things like that, I think this is going to be a really quick read, so I'm really excited to pick this up, and I have to finish it before mid-September because that's when my work book club is meeting for it. So the next book I've chosen, which technically is for those 2 prompts, this one definitely leans more onto the disability rep. I don't think anyone, well, you might be shocked because I've not read it already, but I don't think anyone will be shocked to hear that I'm going to pick up Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Everyone, I feel like, knows what this book is. It is fantasy romance. There are dragons. Let's read the blurb. There's a map. Welcome to the brutal and elite world of Basgiath. It's a fantasy worlds. Basgiath War College. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life amongst books and history. Now the commanding general, her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Everyone at Basgiath has an agenda, so sleep with one eye open, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die. Exciting. I think this is going to be somewhere between, like, A Court of Thorns and Roses in terms of the fantasy romance element and the Poppy War trilogy, in as much as it's got a military war base in. I've read both of those series. I enjoyed both of those series, although I will admit the Poppy War trilogy was a lot to get through because it was very heavily focused on the warring as you got through it, but I hope this is a middle ground somewhere between the 2. So the next prompt I picked was 2+ authors, and you cannot believe how happy I was to pick this prompt because I knew exactly what I was going to pick for it, and it is the next book in the Zodiac Academy series, more specifically the next book in the Ruthless Boys series, which is the last book, and that is Warrior Fae by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. Oh my god, these books. I love these books, so I'm so glad that I could fit at least one of them on this TBR for the month. This is the last book in the Ruthless Boys series. It follows Elise as she hacks her way essentially into Aurelia Academy to find out what happened to her brother, who has mysteriously died following joining the academy. She knows that someone called King is involved, so she befriends the kings of the school, which happen to be 4 students there, and sets out to find out whether or not they were involved in her brother's death, and if they were, she is going to do whatever it takes to extract revenge. That's the premise of the plot. Obviously I am at book 5, so there have been lots of turns and twists and oh my gods, and I need to finish this series and then go back to Zodiac and finish that series, and then probably read the Dartmoor Penitentiary series as well, because I now have met the characters that are involved in that and I cannot wait. The next prompt I got was male author, so I'm going a little bit out of left field for this. I am going to, hopefully, read Atomic Habits by James Clear. Yeah, James Clear. I have owned this book for over a year. I've heard lots of people say really good things when they've read it. I want to become a more together person. Not to say that I'm not, but I could definitely be more together, and I think I could be more organised in my life and things like that. I've heard lots of good things about this book. I'm a bullet journaler, so tracking habits and tracking things and all of that stuff is right up my street. So I was going to read this book as soon as I bought it, and then it sat on my shelf. I took it on holiday with me last year and I didn't read it. I need to read this book, so I am hoping that I can get this book read this month, next month. We're still at the end of August. Maybe even if I just read like a chapter a morning alongside the other books, as it's non-fiction, and I find that I can tend to read a non-fiction and a fiction book at the same time without getting too confused. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to be reading Atomic Habits. By the way, all these books are subject to change as and when I get to a book and if I'm feeling it or not, but this is my tentative TBR. So banned book. Originally I was going to, well, I had to look up a list of banned books because I didn't know, and then when I looked up a list I was like, I don't own any of these books. That's a lie. Okay, I've read the ones that I own and I'm currently in the process of unhauling them. So things like Handmaid's Tale, is that the only one I own? That might be the only one I own. But yeah, so I've already read Handmaid's Tale, so I can't read that again. So I looked up a list, tried to find one that was maybe a bit more recent, because I don't have a good track record with older books and classics. So originally I picked The Hate U Give. I can't remember who wrote that, but I will put a picture somewhere up here because that was written quite recently. I think it's young adult aim, so it should be easy to read. But then I was like, I don't actually own that book. I've got it on my library app so I can read it on my phone or on my iPad, but I then remembered that my sister, and she doesn't know I've stolen this from her room yet, so thanks for this, Jess. My sister owns a copy of 1984, the cloth-bound edition by George Orwell, and I am 99% sure I saw that on the list. Can't be sure though, so I'll double check and then we'll figure out which book I read when I get round to reading this prompt. I don't even think this book has a blurb in it because obviously cloth-bound classic, the back is the same pattern, but I'm pretty sure it's about like Big Brother and being watched all the time, but that's all I know. My friend Shell from Bookishly Shell has read it and thinks I'll really enjoy it, and it's not too much of a classic for me to be put off. I think it's because I had to read a load of classics in school and I just wasn't into reading as much back then. I think the only one I've finished is Wuthering Heights, and I didn't read that for school, I read it because I wanted to. So that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully between this or The Hate U Give, I will fill up this prompt. And the final prompt I picked was LGBTQIA+, and for that I have picked Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. Ashley Herring Blake, I got that right. This is a contemporary romance, the second in a series that could be read as standalones. So the first one is Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I read last year, really enjoyed. But this is a sapphic romance about Astrid and Jordan, a carpenter. So let's read the blurb. For Astrid Parker, failure is unacceptable. Ever since she broke up with her fiancé a year ago, she's been focused on her career. So when she's asked to be the designer for the Everwood Inn's renovation to be featured on a hugely popular home makeover show, Astrid is thrilled. Not only will the project be perfect distraction, but her perpetually displeased mother might finally give her a nod of approval. However, Astrid never planned on Jordan Everwood, lead carpenter for the renovation. Jordan is determined to preserve the history of her family's inn, particularly as the rest of her life is in shambles. When that determination turns into some light sabotage to ruffle Astrid's perfect little feathers, the showrunners ask them to play up the tension. But somewhere along the way, their dislike for each other evolves into something quite different. It's time for Astrid to decide if she's going to pursue the life that she's expected to lead or the one that she really wants. And it describes it as a rivals to lovers story, so that's going to be really good. I really enjoyed Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Obviously we met Astrid in that book. I didn't like her, but I don't think you were meant to like her that much. But I am looking forward to reading her story. Obviously in book one she was engaged to a man and now is going to have a rivals to love relationship with a woman, so it's going to be exciting to understand that journey along with her. But yeah, those are my picks for Pickpongathon. Thank you again to Crystal for hosting this. I will pop all her details down below. If you're playing Pickpong, let me know down in the comments if we got any of the same prompts. Are we going to be reading any of the same books? If not, I will leave the information on how to play, how to join down below as well. If you've made it to this point and haven't got anything to say, you can just leave a rainbow emoji in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!